Welcome back to the Shine Gaming and Esports Center for Week 5 of PEC Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Play. I'm Jack Elliott, joined of course with my co-host Noah. We are going to have a great matchup here for you. It's the Syracuse Orange against the Baylor Bears. Last week's matchup for Super Smash Bros. Was not streamed, so we're going to take you through what happened real quick.
Yeah, so Syracuse took on the Ohio State Buckeyes, where SU won 2-0, sweeping the best out of 3 series. But this wasn't your dominant 2-0 performance. It was pretty tight. Game 2 went into a tiebreaker where I believe Syrup ended up getting the job done for the Orange to improve their record to 2-1.
Yeah, so I was sitting in here. I happened to be in the Shine Gaming and Esports Center because where else would I want to spend a Wednesday night? It's a beautiful place.
Beautiful, beautiful.
And I got to sit behind them and I got to watch the game. So a couple things that I noticed. Yes, it did go to tiebreaker, but as you know, one of the leaders of the team, Sarvi, said before the game, we are probably the happiest team in the PEC to go to tiebreaker because of the presence of Syrup, a dominant force, a top 11 player in the world, one of the best in the PEC. So, you know, we feel very comfortable, Syracuse does, going into tiebreaker. It's just a best of 3 winner-take-all set. Some other things I noticed, Drew came up clutch in the second game, you know, really shifted the momentum with a huge win, beating a character that he had lost to previously. And, you know, Sarvi played very well in both games, ended up winning his matchup in the first game, but losing in the second game. But, you know, it ended up going to tiebreaker, and Syrup ended up claiming it. So really no harm, no foul. Syrup, though, let's talk about him. I mean, he's such a dominant force for this team. What do you know about him coming into this game?
Syrup is such a cheat code. There is no other team in the league that has a real counter for him. He's top 11 ranked in the world. He's 4th in the conference in KOs. He leads the Orange by KOs. He leads the Orange in KOs by a long shot. He's just such an aggressive piece on this roster, such a dominant force, and as long as they got him on this lined up, I mean, there's no stopping them, and that's a huge advantage. That's a bigger advantage than any other team.
And it led to a change in format this year for PEC Smash Bros. It's a completely new format. Yeah. We'll take you through it right now. So there's going to be, before the match, they flip a coin to determine a Team 1 and a Team 2. In this case, Baylor is Team 1 and Syracuse is Team 2. Team 1 gets a blind pick at the start of the round, and Team 2 gets a blind pick at the end of the round. From there, it's 4 3-stock matches, 1v1, and you get a point based off how many stocks you take off your opponent, and also for winning. So let's say you win your match, but you only have 1 stock left. Your opponent will get 2 points, and you'll get 3 for the stocks you took off them, and 1 more for winning. So that'll be a 4-2 win. It's 4 matches in a row, and it's a combination of counter picks and blind picks in kind of a snake draft formation. And whoever has the most points at the end of the 4 matchups takes the set. It's best of 3 sets. Yeah. We'll take you through the matchups real quick here for this matchup in particular. So we start off, Baylor's blind pick was Calamity, who will be playing Terry. Counterpicked for Syracuse by Millsharks playing DK. Syracuse went Sarvi in the blind, playing Luigi, who was counterpicked by Howard playing Incineroar. From there, it was Lumashot playing Ken. Counterpicked by Talia playing Yoshi for Syracuse. The Syracuse blind was Syrup playing Ness, and that was counterpicked by Trickshot playing Mario.
A lot of interesting matchups there on deck. I'm looking at the first matchup, Terry versus DK. They're both really heavyweight characters, right? But they have 2 clashing playstyles. DK really thrives in the air with those aerial attacks and the spinning, I don't know what you call it, spinning fists or whatever, while Terry's more on the ground and get a couple combos down there. It'll be interesting to see just who's better on the sticks overall between the Orange and the Bears.
Yeah, I love watching DK play. I think he's hilarious.
So fun.
You know, the big monkey himself. And he's an iconic character.
Of course.
Looking at the decision from Syrup to play Ness, you know, usually we get to see him stick with his traditional Steve, especially in PEC play so far. But what do you think is the rationale picking Ness, especially going in blind?
Yeah, I'm a little shocked that he went with Ness over Steve, just because I feel like Steve would definitely have a bigger advantage against Trickster for Baylor, who's playing as Mario. But with Ness, I mean, he's super. If you could learn Ness's play style and you could get that down to a T, he becomes an unstoppable force. Again, another character similar to DK who thrives with the aerial attacks. But unlike DK, Ness also has range to his attacks, so there's a lot of versatility there.
And Ness is one of the most persistent and pesky characters in the game. Just repeatedly, building up those percents before he can find a knockout blow. Something that I thought was interesting, we were in here while they were drafting. They were drafting with us. This is where they like to do it, and it's a huge help to us. So thanks to everybody for that. Coach Nikita Bear is not in attendance tonight, but it's the team manager and Sarvi doing the draft. Talia was really, really excited to get to go in and play Yoshi against Kent.
Yeah, it's all about just having confidence. Talia seemed very eager to play. They got selected, and I like the matchup against Ken. Yoshi has the egg attacks. He can keep his distance with the long tongue. I think it favors the orange.
And then, the choice to go in to Sarvi blind. Sarvi's an all-around player. He's an engine for this team, really. Thinks he can perform against anyone, especially thinks he can perform against everybody who is on this Baylor roster. Baylor has started the season off 0-4. Syracuse, on the other hand, is 2-1. The only loss coming to the number 1 team in the coaches poll, Michigan State. That was week 1. So it seems like Syracuse is primed to move into a great position in the PEC standings.
Oh, yeah. I don't want to say it's like David versus Goliath tonight, but Baylor's in desperate need of that first win. Now, Baylor's schedule hasn't necessarily been easy. They've played against Minnesota and Nebraska. The teams they've played against have a combined 9-5 record. But one keynote here is Syracuse. They beat Boise a couple weeks ago. Baylor lost to them. So Syracuse kind of already has that blueprint figured out. I think the Orange should be heavy favorites going into tonight. Definitely
watched some of those game notes from watch some film on how they played Boise, because we took care of Boise pretty easily.
Pretty handily, of course,
I'd say. And so you kind of go back, watch how Baylor played. There's streams of all these things. I think that's one of the most interesting parts of esports personally, is you can really learn anybody's play style down to a T, even more than in physical sports.
Yeah, and with a game like Smash, where there's so many characters and play styles, it's important to know who you're going up against. The character matters. The person on the controller matters. Everyone has different play styles. Sometimes players are more aggressive. Sometimes players want to be more laid back. So this film's very important. The Boise State matchup here is very crucial to look at because both teams have already played them.
And something interesting to note about Baylor's roster, they only have a total of 4 players. Syracuse is sitting around 6 or 7, and Baylor only has 4. So they have less variety. Of course, some of these players, they can go, they can play multiple different characters, but it's still an advantage that Syracuse has, being able to go a variety of different directions.
Yeah. Syracuse has depth. There's a lot of different formations and lineups they can run out there, where Baylor's stuck with that same 4 and has to run it out pretty much no matter what. So that's a huge advantage for the Orange, and I'm sure they'll take care of it tonight.
Some of the consistencies for Syracuse that we've seen, of course, all season. You see a lot of Syrup. He's usually in there either as a blind pick or against some of these more, like high up the PEC power ranking teams. He'll come out as a counter pick, to try and counter their best player. And Sarvi tends to be in there somewhere. He wants to lead this team. They are currently 5-0 in the alternative, the other competition that's not the PEC. So they've got, they're proving their worth everywhere all around the country right now.
Absolutely. Having those two is just such a safety blanket for the Orange. No matter what the matchup is against them, you can just throw one of those two out, and I would say you have like a 70-80% chance of winning that round, and that's just such a cheat code for the Orange. Why not utilize it?
And, it's something that we've kind of talked about a lot to start the season. Andrew Syrup he's a very consistent, he's a coach for the team in terms of mechanical things. They turn to him, not a coach necessarily, but he has a wealth of knowledge, especially being a top 11 player in the world. He's just going to know more than the average person, especially about the game. And so he can kind of advise on things. Whereas, Coach Nikita Bear and Sarvi, they kind of take turns being that like mental coach or that like engine for the team to bounce off of when they need something that's a little bit more mental.
Yeah, I feel like Syracuse already has an advantage over most teams when it comes to, physically playing the game. But even on the mental side, they have a huge advantage with those player coaches. Having just the IQ and the confidence to, when you're going into every round, it's hard to stop that.
And the master hand has informed me that we're getting into things right here. Here we go. It's Calamity playing Terry and Mill Sharks playing DK. It's going to be a very heavyweight match up here. Just kind of biding their distance so far. Throwing out a couple ranged attacks is Calamity, trying to break through that DK shield. DK going for that ground pound, trying to catch Terry off guard a little bit. But really not a lot of percents being exchanged so far.
Nothing so far. Both players playing very lenient right now. I want to see some more aggression from especially DK, who I think he could really thrive if he gets Terry in the air.
Kind of getting juggled now, though, is DK in that space where he tends to thrive, but a good grab and a good combo is going to bring things almost even on percent, and a huge hit, but some good DI brings Calamity back on stage. Trying to edge guard there is Millsharks. Gets caught off guard, breaks the shield at the wrong time. Terry now in that advantage state, but a good hit from DK. Just manages to stay alive. Calamity trying to edge guard, but there's not a lot of edge guarding capability for DK.
There's not. And I love DK's playstyle, playing very patient, waiting for Terry to come to him instead of going out aggressive.
And a huge hit, and there's the knockout on the third time of asking. It's Millsharks striking first, taking stock number 1.
Cannot ask for a better start for the Orange.
And, DK has that move where you can just kind of get grabbed and thrown off stage. You can throw him over the shoulder and just walk away. It's
frustrating.
It's a tough grab to play against, and it's something that definitely I'll be looking for. DK trying to make the most of this stock here, but a really big hit. Just manages to stay on stage, not get knocked out. Makes it back on that edge. Difficult place to be in. Goes for the grab off stage. Good recovery, though, from Calamity to get back on. And there's the knockout. But really, Millsharks made a lot of that stock. Almost 70% taken off of Calamity there.
Yeah, still a great job from Millsharks. We saw that grab move. He attempted it. Terry's able to escape it and take advantage of it with a counterattack.
Both off stage here. Going to go for some good edge guarding. And a huge down air there. That'll finish off Terry. 1 stock left, and Millsharks sitting pretty at just 69% on this second stock.
Beautiful down B from DK. Doesn't get more perfect than that.
And it's just such a powerful move. Deals so much percent. Looking now to edge guard. Already got Terry up pretty high on percents again. This has been a dominant showing so far from Millsharks.
No doubt about it, and we see him keep trying to push Terry towards the edge. He wants that final stock.
There's a good combo from Terry. Juggles Millsharks a little bit. Now looking to edge guard towards, that left side of the stage. Looking for that knockout blow. Trying to go off stage with the grab again. Trying to get that combo, but neither of them going to be able to recover. Unfortunately, DK is going to be knocked out at the bottom of the stage first. Terry, though, still gets knocked out. Syracuse takes the lead 4-2.
When you have that 1 stock advantage, you are perfectly fine with making those kind of sacrifices. We saw DK keep trying to go for those grabs because he had the lead, ends up working out for the Orange.
Those grabs are just such a powerful move for DK. If you get up a stock, it's so difficult to recover for the other team. And Terry felt the burn there.
Oh yeah, when DK just constantly grabbing you and you're already down a stock, you kind of start panicking. I feel like there's not really anything you could do in that moment. It's tough to counter, and we saw it there.
You're completely helpless. There were a couple of opportunities where DK almost had that knockout initially, but finally got it there at the end. And this was just a pretty incredible piece of edge guarding. There's just no way you're getting out of that. And then both kind of off stage, not maybe technically an SD, but it certainly felt like it for both characters.
Oh yeah, definitely. And again, you have that advantage. You're worth making those sacrifices. I thought DK just was a switch like this, but Terry started coming to it. Terry just walked out of the game.
DK definitely got caught out in the air a couple times, but always managed to recover, and it's that heaviness that prevents DK from being really tossed around, and that was really important.
It worked to their advantage for sure. DK was getting sent around, but Terry could just never get him off screen completely, and DK would come back, get the grab, go to work from there.
Next up, we've got Sarvi playing Luigi, one of the engines of this team, looking to take a strong second match victory versus Howard playing Incineroar for the Baylor Bears.
I don't want to sound biased, but I love this matchup for Sarvi and Syracuse. Luigi is just such a calculated character, whereas Incineroar is another heavyweight who's just very slow and has a big hitbox. He's an easy target. I think Sarvi's not going to do a lot of damage, with 1 or 2 hits, but he gets those combos going. It's going to be dangerous.
Sarvi's Sarvi's combo ability is just so impressive, and I mean it's a trademark of Luigi as a character, but it's something that Sarvi does so well. Often likes to go for that patented up smash to finish things off. It's one of Sarvi's favorite moves, but we'll look to see what happens here, especially against a heavier character.
Oh yeah, as a former Luigi main myself, I'm gonna make sure to take some notes and study this one because I'm sure Sarvi's gonna put on a good. Come on, a good session.
Looking forward to hearing some of your commentary about it. I played Kirby when I played a lot of Smash, so I don't know a ton about Luigi, but I've learned a lot watching Sarvi play Luigi. So that's a positive.
Yeah, no Kirby on the slate right now. A little disappointing to see that, but yeah, Luigi is such a fun character, and Sarvi, as skilled as he is, it just ups the difficulty to stop by 10. He's going to be dominant here. I'm not liking the matchup for Baylor at all.
Definitely, you're going to look for Sarvi to create space, deal smaller percents from further away before you can, advance quickly, take advantage of a mistake, start juggling, get a combo off. Whoops, I dropped my pen.
It happens. Yeah, exactly. He's got to get those combos off. He just can't slip up because in Senor, he is a heavy hitter. Luigi's light. 1 to 2 big hits, and Luigi gets sent off the screen. Just no mistakes here. Keep it clean. Play it safe. I think you'll get an easy victory.
And, I know that Sarvi is confident coming into this, and that's one of the most important things for his play style. He needs to be confident, can't get flustered. And, I think given the confidence with which he felt saying, all right, I'll go in blind. He was a big proponent of it in the room drafting. I think he feels good about this.
Yep, and it goes back to that mental thing we were talking about earlier. When you have several players on the roster who are just so confident, it resonates with the rest of the team. And it only helps you both on the sticks and in practice and in whatever meetings they may be having. Sarvi is a great character on the team. He brings great presence. I'm excited to see what he can do.
And, going into more of Sarvi, what he does for the Smash program as a whole here at Syracuse, every Monday night, I'm usually in here to cast some Rocket League on Monday nights. You've been in here a couple times.
Yep.
And they run the Smash tournaments here. While we're getting into things, we'll get more into Smash during the week later. But we're going to get into things here now. It's Sarvi against Howard going in this second match.
Trying to bait him with these long-range attacks early on.
Yeah, he loves going for that grab, especially early, but a good combo. Already up to 50% is Howard. Another combo there. Got out of the shield a little too early, did Howard. Now just kind of gotten punished for it.
And we're just seeing these combos fly off the bat. He is playing with his food right now.
Wow. I mean, Sarvi is just absolutely making mincemeat right now of Incineroar. Already up at 100%. A good recovery there. Deals a couple percent, but nothing massive. Now Sarvi's going to go and try and find that knockout blow.
Luigi only have 41%, but we see how light he is. Incineroar is tossing him around the stage like a rag doll.
That's one of the most important things, and his recovery is really not all that good. So if he gets tossed too far off stage, it can get very predictable how he's going to recover. Now all the way up at 80%, you see it there. That recovery really only consists of a couple things. Very easy to edge guard.
Yeah, I would get off this side of the map if I was Sarv right now.
Oh, really nice. Nice play there. Good throw. Trying to edge guard now. Luigi does have some decent edge guarding capability, and Howard's not going to be able to recover from that. Wow.
Incineroar does not have a great recovery. Once you get him on that side, once you get him to the side of the map, side of the screen, you're in a huge advantage.
Sarvi looking to get a combo started here. Gets a couple going. Some good DI to escape what was going to be, really a costly combo, and it certainly was. Already up at 100% on that second stock, and a quick knockout for Syracuse.
Just getting those combos going, and Incineroar has no response for it. It's beautiful to watch.
He didn't take a single percent, Noah.
Insane.
And here he goes again, already back up at 70%. Sarvi is looking for the 3 stock, and he'll get it. 4-0 for Syracuse, and it's 8-2.
My goodness, Sarv just took care of business with ease. I think he was toying with this foot a little too much at the beginning, and then said, okay, you know what? Let me lean forward a little bit. Let me lock in. And he just completely annihilated Incineroar.
Yeah, if we had been looking out there, I think we literally would have seen him after that first stock lean forward in the gaming chair, just like the meme.
You could just tell by just watching him play. As soon as he's getting tossed around a little bit, he just immediately just went to the combos, and he was not missing. He was not messing up at all.
I don't think he took another percent, and he managed to toss Incineroar enough that, Incineroar's recovery is just... It's not there. It's downright terrible, and that really cost Incineroar. But Sarvi took advantage of every single mistake. That is the performance you like to see out of the engine of your team. It's 8-2 Syracuse.
Sarvi is just so when he's out there on the stage, it's just so mapped out for him. Incineroar's a heavy character. Luigi shouldn't be able to get him just flying around like that, but he's just so calculated with his moves. He gets these combos going, and he sends Incineroar off the map with ease. It's really impressive.
And, he came in playing with confidence, just like we said before, and that was going to be the biggest thing for him. Heading in now, it was the blind pick, which was Lumashot playing Ken, and that was counterpicked by Talia playing Yoshi. Any win for Syracuse here is a win on the set. They will take the set. They will mathematically, have the victory.
Yeah, and again, I don't want to be biased, but this is another matchup that I feel like favors the orange here. Yes, Yoshi is a lighter character, and Ken, again, he had a couple hits and send Yoshi flying. But with the egg attacks, with the tongue, these long-range moves, I think Yoshi just has a lot more versatility compared to Ken.
Ken, we're going to get into replays here. We'll keep talking about that matchup in a second. That combo ability from Luigi, it's really where he shines as a character, and Sarvi was making the most of it. That was just some poor recovery from Incineroar. A quick, that was one of the better combos I've seen Sarvi pull off here. And then yet again, good edge guarding, and he didn't take a single % on those last two shots.
No, I'm telling you, he locked in after getting toyed around for the first couple minutes. Luigi's up B is one of the deadliest in the game, and you see Sarvi use that box, and he was able to capitalize on that 7 spot to get Incineroar. It's just a beauty to watch. He's made. I'm just wondering how he even got that good. To get to that
it's a beautiful space, and it's certainly the pride and joy of Syracuse. And, we care a lot about esports here. Going back to our next matchup, I've talked in past weeks with one of the other guys who's on here with me, Rowan. You all know him at home. He hates Ken. He cannot stand Ken.
Listen, Ryu and Ken, they're not my favorite characters to select either. I think they're just a little too slow for my liking. They're not as mobile as you'd think, But if you can master them, it is scary. They got a lot of they're heavy hitters.
So you think Yoshi is a character who is, deceptively heavy, I'd say. It doesn't seem, given the size of the hitbox and everything, like they'd be a heavy character, but they can hold their ground.
Yoshi can shock you for a bit. And what impresses me the most about Yoshi, if you know how to use him, is he has one of the better recoveries in the game. He is really hard to send off the map. And I'm not sure if Ken really has the aerial attacks, down B him or, send him down. It's going to be interesting.
Definitely going to look for Yoshi to, take some space, not really get in too quick, which is exactly what happened there. And Yoshi immediately got juggled by that Ken. That was good play from the Ken.
Now, Sarvi told us that Talia was eager to play, but I'm hoping that doesn't, translate to the actual game. I don't want to see Yoshi be too aggressive here.
Of course, you got to wait for your opportunity, especially against a heavier character. Yoshi getting juggled around now here early. Good recovery, gets back on stage, but read perfectly by Lumashot, and that was a big hit.
Yoshi's getting tossed around, but he's down but not out, though. We see those recoveries coming into play.
It's really good recovery, and gets thrown off the stage. Good grab there. Bounced around now. Trying to find some space. Definitely, keeping their distance a little bit more now is Talia. Good shield there to block that attack from Ken. Fine, trying to find an opportunity to go in for a combo, a little bit of a hit. Hasn't been able to find much, all the way up at 150%, but deals a couple percents there, all the way up to 67% is Ken. Wow. Isn't that exciting, folks at home? But now getting juggled around again is Talia.
Yeah, in a really dangerous spot there on the edge, but Yoshi was able to escape. 181%, though. You do not want to play around right now. You want to play it safe.
Commentator's
curse, my fault.
Yeah, it happened immediately there, but Talia was up really high in percent early and made the most of it, I'd say.
Yeah, no, Yoshi's not a character that could just lay down and quit. With the recovery Yoshi has, it's so difficult to get a stock out of him.
Definitely, and we saw that heaviness of Yoshi on display there. Made the most of that stock, down almost 90%, but now really needs to get going and get a knockout here before things get too out of hand on this second stock.
We see Ken at 121%, and we see Ken on the edge right now. Now's the opportunity to take him out.
And a great, back air, and that's going to be a knockout for Syracuse.
There we go, yep.
Completely slipped up on my words there. But that is a great knockout, and now an opportunity to kind of try and make things even here.
Yeah, it'll be huge to see the momentum switch here.
That tail whip from Yoshi is so powerful. One of those really favored knockout moves for Talia.
It's a work of art.
All the way up to 64% now is Ken, but Yoshi moving back towards that knockout zone, even for a heavier character. Ken now up to 68 on the edge here. Some good edge guarding, really able to read that recovery really well is Talia right now. Great egg shield, gets Ken back on the outside, chomps a couple times on the bite, tosses Ken off stage yet again. They're now back up just about even, going for a huge knockout.
Wow.
A great piece of aerial defense, and that's a huge knockout for Syracuse.
What a combo from Talia, just killing Ken on the edge and setting him on the other side of the map off the screen. Very impressive work.
Ken got the knockout animation there, but didn't quite get the knockout. Lumashot just trying to find one more big hit before things get too crazy here on this second stock for Yoshi. Doing a lot of work right now is Yoshi, up in those high percents. Dealt already 56, 66% onto Ken. Trying to find a couple more hits and then maybe a knockout, take a 2 stock here. But reminder, any win for Syracuse, a huge knockout there.
Great edge guard from Ken. Yoshi's egg attack missed right there.
I mean, Lumashot took advantage immediately. Reminder that any win for Syracuse here is a win overall on the set. So just trying to find a couple more hits, deals a couple percents there. Ken all the way up to 80%, tries to read the recovery, doesn't get it, but a good bite. Ken manages to get out of it.
I want to see Yoshi keep Ken on the edge here. Ken's at 90%, doesn't have a great recovery. You know, now would be the time to get that last stock.
Yeah, just get the finish in, finish things off here. All the way up at 99%, but Yoshi getting pretty high too. Talia got to be careful, can't get knocked out here. 116% now for Lumashot, but dealing a good combo and a great knockout. And Baylor's going to take this matchup by the score of 4-2. So going into the final matchup, the score is 10-6.
Great effort from Ken there towards the end, because it really looked like he was down and out. But then he survives the edge attacks from Yoshi, and you know, he brings to the other side of the map and takes care of business. Again, Yoshi's lightweight kind of goes into play there. One uppercut, and he's gone.
Yeah, and it was really back and forth, I'd say. That was the biggest thing I saw in this matchup. You know, Yoshi took that first stock with barely dealing any percents to Ken.
We're
came back,
Esports.
got a stock, and got a
that
second
comes
stock
to
off Ken before
gaming.
Ken went back and went on a 2-0 run
beyond
in the
gaming, as our
reverse.
executive
And
director
it was
would
just
put it.
really impressive play from both sides. Unfortunately,
It's
now
business, it's management, it's event organization,
Baylor
it's content,
needs a
media, it's
4-0
broadcast.
win here, a 3 stock of syrup in order to even force an overtime or a winner-take-all matchup, a tiebreaker.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the most difficult things to do in PEC
I
play.
think we got better odds of like walking outside and seeing pigs fly around campus.
I
I don't see how you get a 4-0 round over syrup. I'm gonna respect Baylor. You know, you never know in sports. Anything can happen really, but it's gonna take peak effort to get this done.
And we've got Mario coming into Syrup's nest. That's a tough matchup. I mean, going up against the top 11 player anytime is a tough
any
matchup.
character's gonna be tough. Mario's just a really all-around character. I'm not familiar with how well Trickster is on the sticks with him, you know, because Mario, I feel like anyone could really master him if you get a couple weeks on this game. But against Ness is already a frustrating character to go up against with, because he has a variety of moves. But then you have Syrup controlling Ness. I don't like the odds.
I mean, you just kind of got to take a deep breath and say, I'm going to go out there and give it my best shot.
Don't
Reminder,
overthink it. Don't overthink it.
the first stock that Syracuse takes will be enough, because even if Syracuse loses this matchup 4-1, it will still be an 11-10 final in the way of Syracuse, and that will move us on to set 2 with Syracuse up 1-0.
Yeah, so it's going to take a miracle, pretty much.
Pretty much.
There's
I mean,
no other way to say it.
it wouldn't take much of a miracle for Syracuse. Of course, we are
Oh, no.
commentators for Syracuse, but
No.
it would absolutely take a miracle for Baylor to pull anything off here.
No, again, we were saying this earlier. Syrup is just a cheat code for this team. It doesn't matter what character he's playing as. It doesn't matter who he's against. He has enough talent to take on anyone, anything. And Baylor, you know, considering their own 4, I feel like this is not going to be too much of a difficult task for Syrup.
Talking at the beginning of the season, you know, I talked to program director Joey Gariziak as well as Coach Bear. And basically what they said is that Syrup is who you expect to go in there and get a 3 stock every single time. Win 4, get 4 points on the board for your team. We'll see if he can do it here. But reminder, all he needs is 1 getting into things right now. Just kind of trying to feel each other out at that beginning of the stage. Deals a nice 16% there early to Mario, and just looking for some combos. Good combo there early Just gets to edge guard now, and I mean, Ness has some fantastic edge guarding.
Yeah. Again, Mario is just such a basic character. He doesn't have the most impressive skill set when on the edge, so that's a huge advantage for Ness.
Just getting juggled around now here by Mario. Really good combo.
Really impressive combo there.
All the way up to 76% is Syrup early. That was a really nice combo and not exactly what we were expecting. There's the edge guard and a quick knockout. Wow! That came out of nowhere.
Yep, I think, again, Syrup just kind of leaned forward after that little combo. He's like, okay, enough's enough.
And that was really, I mean, that'll do it here. That's Syracuse, a win for Syracuse.
Yep.
And oh my goodness, just showing off some of that that edge guarding and of course that recovery. A great edge guard there. Just got that PK Thunder to get back in just in time. Yeah,
right now Syracuse is just really playing to add salt in the wound. And we see Ness and Syrup just kind of toying around here a little bit, just testing out different mechanics and whatnot. Yeah, the rest of the game doesn't really mean much from now, but maybe Baylor could build off this, kind of create some momentum to hopefully go into the next set.
Of course, that's what you hope. A great grab there from Syrup, and now just going to try and edge guard. Good recovery from Mario. Yeah, but I also still haven't found this out. I meant to ask a couple weeks ago. I meant to ask the program director, Joey, but whether or not differential matters. And wow, a quick knockout there again for Syrup, and I mean, he has not taken his foot off the gas, trying to go for that 3-stock all the way up at 134% now, though. Going to have to get tricky if he's going to make the most of this one, and he will not. He's going to get knocked out. So, I mean, you got to feel great if you're Trickster taking a stock off of Syrup, right? Getting the chance to take a stock off the number 11 player in the world, that's pretty incredible.
Oh, yeah, win or lose, you can still say you took a stock off him. So, I mean, that's pretty impressive, and it gives you a little bit more confidence going into the next set.
You're leaving here with something,
yeah,
as they tend to say.
Right? Exactly.
Syrup looking to try and end things now. Of course, can kind of take his foot off the gas a little bit if he wants to. Good PK fire. Well, I mean, that PK fire is just, it's such a pestering move.
Oh, it's annoying. It's annoying.
Good combo there. Really deals just a couple of big hits to Mario. Now looking for that knockout blow. Mario is certainly not the heaviest of characters, so anything in this percents, it's a big hit will be a knockout. And there it is, and a huge knockout for Syracuse. And Syracuse is going to take this last set 4-1. Final score 14-7 Syracuse.
Yeah, and that last match kind of went how we expected it. Syrup was just kind of, messing around a little bit and then just took care of business when he had to. Once he got that first stock, you could kind of tell that he was laying off a bit. But for Baylor, I got to respect Trickster. He got one stock off a top 11 player in the world. And, you don't want to make that score look too bad. You don't want to make it look embarrassing. So,
of course, and I'll try and find out, especially before next week, whether or not point differential plays a role in seeding if records are the same. For now, though, these teams have to get in and draft for set 2. So we will be right back with more Baylor versus Syracuse Smash Bros. Action.
Word esports. Well, I mean, the first thing that comes to most people's minds is gaming, but it's a lot more than that, right? It's beyond gaming, as our executive director would put it. It's business, it's management, it's event organization, it's content, it's media, it's broadcast.
I think the fact that the new Esports Center is in Shine, this is kind of like the almost like community hub, and to put the esports facility right on the first floor of that space, it really says something.
guess who forgot to reincarnate on time? It's Paul Remus here. Tired of waiting for your dream life to start? Are you stuck in the eternal loop of one day I'll be who I'm meant to be? Well, not anymore, friend. Introducing Now You, the revolutionary life hack they don't want you to know about. With Now You don't have to wait for the stars to align, your chakras to open, or Mercury to stop retrograding. You can be who you want to be. Right? Flipping now. Just 4 easy payments of $9.99. That's right. Less than the price of a crystal that sits on your desk and does nothing. No shipping, no handling, no sense of linear time. Order now and we'll throw in a bonus instant access to the present moment absolutely free. But wait, if you call in the next 30 seconds or whenever you feel like it, because time is a lie, we'll double your order. That's right, you'll get 2 versions of you for the price of 1. So why wait? Stop becoming and start being. Call 1-800-NOW-YOU. That's 1-800-NOW-YOU. Extra you for unlimited potential. Now you. Because the future is overrated and honestly kind of rude.
Welcome back to the Shine Gaming and Esports Center. I'm Jack Elliott here, of course, with
We're
Noah
Esports.
Emerald. We
Well, I mean,
have
the first thing that
set
comes to
2
most people's minds
of
is
Baylor
gaming,
versus the
but it's a lot more
Syracuse
than that, right?
Orange
It's
in
beyond
PEC
gaming, as our executive
Smash
director
Bros
would
play.
put it.
There we go. There we go. Yeah, it's exciting. Syracuse dominant in
It's
set
business,
1.
it's management, it's event organization,
Hoping to
it's
carry on
content,
that
it's
energy
media,
in
it's
set 2 now.
broadcast.
Yeah, we've got, they went in, they did the draft just a moment ago, so we've got all new matchups
I think the fact
here.
that the new Esports Center
Sarvi
is in
and
Shine,
Syrup both
this is
sitting
kind
out
of like
set
the
2, trying
almost
to
like
see what everybody on the team
hub,
can do.
and to put
This time,
the esports
SU was
facility
team 1, so we
right
got
on
that
the
first
floor
blind
of that
pick.
space,
We have
it
Drew
really
playing
says something
Joker,
that this university
counterpicked
is
by
looking to
Calamity,
make
playing
esports
Terry yet again.
something bigger,
Then was
something that we
Lumashot,
haven't
who
quite
was the blind
seen
pick,
before.
playing Ken, which was counterpicked by Syracuse with Ado Bears playing Pitt. Then Syracuse
I mean,
blind
and
pick
just to
with
see
Mill
how
Sharks
we've
again
come
playing
from that,
DK.
like a two-person
And it's once again
operation in
Howard
a
Gasly
boom room
this time
to now just
playing
like
Ike.
massive
And then the blind
state-of-the-art
for Baylor was once again Trickster playing Mario. And we counterpicked with Talia playing Yoshi yet again.
Yeah, great matchup for the Orange. I know sitting out Sarvi and Syrup maybe a little controversial, but I think the Orange kind of realized that they're heavy favorites in this matchup against Baylor. This is kind of the time where you can toy around with different characters and test out different players and put them in action. So I don't hate that decision at all. And I'm excited to see what these other players are capable of.
And you want to see what everybody on your team can do because of the new format for Smash Bros. You want to know who you're comfortable putting in what situations. This is an opportunity for Syracuse to get to know their roster a little better.
Yes, it's a good test, and it's something you could carry on with you for the rest of the season. You can see how these players respond. You can see what they're capable of. You can see what they're good at, what they're bad at. And it just gives Syracuse a lot more information to kind of store in their pockets for the rest of the year.
So in set 1, Mill Sharks beat Terry by a score of 4-2. So that was a 3 stocks to 2, essentially, you can think of it as. Mill Sharks is now playing Howard the Gasly, who played Incineroar before and got 3 stocked by Sarvi. This time, we'll be playing Ike, which is an interesting switch-up.
Yeah, very interesting switch-up because it's 2 completely different characters, in my opinion. Ike is a sword fighter. Typically with sword fighters, you kind of see this like hit and run mechanic where they're kind of sprinting back and forth around the map and then they get a couple combos in, which is not Incineroar's playstyle at all. But after getting 3-0'd, maybe he thought, okay, I got to flip the script here, change things up.
And something that I'm noticing is that I think the player who had the most impressive display from Baylor, well, not winning, it was Trickster playing Mario, who actually took a stock off of Syrup, which, I mean, I personally think that's really impressive, taking a stock off of Syrup.
It is.
We'll be playing Talia, who was the only person on Syracuse to lose their matchup last time. So that's definitely going to be a bit more of a difficult matchup, but that won't come until the end of the set.
Yeah, and I hope the game has some meaning by then because I think this is really a statement game for both players. Talia, like you said, was the only person who dropped the game in the first set, and Trickster looked impressive against Syrup. And, you want to see what Trickster's really capable of and what they can do against kind of, I don't want to say a weaker player, but, someone who's not ranked 11th in the world.
Of course. I mean, that's just... It's difficult to compare.
Yeah.
Talia played really impressively in round 1, even though they lost. I will say that, that was a really tight matchup between Ken and Yoshi. It was back and forth all game. Talia lost the first stock, but then took 2 straight, and then unfortunately dropped the second 2. So it was really just a battle back and forth, and I'm excited to see the growth there.
Yeah, you want to see a bounce back from Talia because it really did look like they had it against Ken in that first game, and then I feel like a couple mistakes around the edge kind of messed them up, and then Ken took advantage of it. Hopefully they can learn from those mistakes and take it out on Trickster. But Trickster, I think he's a sleeper pick here. He looked pretty good against Syrup, all things considered.
Another matchup I'm really excited for is Mill Sharks playing DK against the sword fighter this time, looking to punish some of those, quick ins, trying to get a couple hits in with that heavier play style of DK, those grabs. And I think that heavy on heavy matchup in the first round, that's not something you're going to see here.
No, not at all. And I think it's going to be a more difficult time for DK because I just think against sword fighters, they can keep their range. They're running back and forth all over the map. It's going to be hard to kind of time that grab, which we saw DK utilize so much in that first matchup against Terry.
We're getting into it now. It is Terry who played first last time against Drew playing Joker.
Drew was the unsung hero, apparently, against Ohio State last week. Interested to see what they could do with such a fun character with Joker.
Yeah, definitely need to keep space and, deal quick damage from afar before kind of moving in for that punishment, especially when you hit that advantage Arsene form.